I've had this 16-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro in space gray for 2 weeks, and I've got some things to say about this laptop. And closer to the end, I'll tell you if it's worth upgrading to this if you're still running on an older MacBook. This is my 16-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro, and for the specs, this is the unbinned M1 Pro chip along 16GB of 6400 MHz LPDDR5 Ram and a terabyte of SSD Nand Storage, with speeds of up to 7.2 GB per second. This is a beast of a laptop, despite the fact that it's a little over 2 years old now. Now, a lot of people have compared this newer MacBook Pro to the last generation of MacBook Pros that only had USB-C, but I'm basically going to be the first to be comparing this to the unibody MacBook Pros, considerably the last generation. Which here is my 13-inch Mid-2012 MacBook Pro, 2.9 GHz dual-core Intel Core i7 3520M, Intel HD Graphics 4000, 1536 MB, 16 GB of 1600 MHz DDR3 RAM, and 512 GB of SSD storage. And now this has an extra 1 TB hard disk drive. Switching to 1 TB of storage from 512 GB is a bit of a difference, but if I had more storage inside, I'd be going a little crazy, since 8 TB would be too much for me to utilize. Starting up, one of the first noticeable things is the Liquid Retina XDR display, and this is a breathtaking experience that can't be matched. With such vibrant colors and an adaptive refresh rate, there's just simply no equal. Apple's promotion makes the entire experience fluid. The XDR's resolution is 3456 by 2234 pixels, compared to the traditional 1280x800 display for the 13-inch. The thermals are a huge difference, and it's been a complete game changer for me. My 13-inch always runs the fan when put under any load, but the 16-inch can run through many tasks before actually needing to run the two fans, which start at a much lower temperature. I've never seen the 16-inch run the fans higher than 2000 RPMs, while my 13-inch has always gone to max. And in case you're wondering, I'm using Temp Monitor, and well, hence the name, it's a temp monitoring software. It's a one-time $6 purchase for a single Mac, and you have access to temps, fan RPMs, power usage, and more. Now, I edit all my videos with Final Cut Pro, and being able to drag and drop on my newer machine is a must for me. I want to have something that perfectly keeps up with my workflow, which at this point is a lot. Ports. I'd say it's a controversial thing for me because these both have decent ports. My 13-inch has 2 USB-A ports and MagSafe, which I'm super happy to have for charging. My 16-inch also has MagSafe, which in reality, Apple should have never taken away. It also has 3 USB-C ports, and these will definitely come into play. For example, if I have an NVMe SSD plugged in to one of the USB-C ports, I still have 2 available for more usage. Honestly, the SD card slot, I couldn't care less, since I mainly use micro SD cards with my iPhones, and I have an adapter as well. Battery life on this thing is the most impressive I have seen so far. I could run for hours unplugged, which is crazy. I haven't tested how long exactly my 16-inch can run, but it's pretty impressive considering that this laptop was slightly used before I got it. The speakers on this, it's the best I've heard on a laptop before. Running back to my old life, but you leave it burning. Speaking tongues in my head, yeah, that's the way you want it. Combined with the Liquid Retina XDR display makes for an amazing movie experience. For example, watching Belle, which was released in 2022, and the blacks, they get black. However, I don't know that I really care about what people have been saying about the blooming, but it does happen when there is a bright object by a black display. As for the keyboard with Touch ID, it's very pleasant to type on with decent key travel, and considering it's a bit lower compared to my 16-inch, it feels more tactile and quieter than my 13-inch typing with the same amount of force. The trackpad here is almost 2 times larger than on my 13-inch. And I've never found myself running out of trackpad room, which is simply amazing. And the notch, you simply just forget about it since it's at the top, and on the 16-inch, it barely takes any of the screen real estate, which by the way, on the larger screen, is awesome. Considering that you can also scale the screen to a higher resolution, but it makes the text tiny in comparison and sometimes harder to read. And now, for the question you have been looking for, is this 16-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro worth to get in 2024? And if you still have an older MacBook Pro, yes, this thing is worth it. And if you have a 2012, where are you right now? This thing is miles ahead of that in terms of everything, besides upgradability.
A single NAND is all that it takes to turn this MacBook into a deadbook.
You can get an external storage device to boost productivity by storing your most important files without having to worry about your internal SSD failing. And if that does, you either need a new soldered SSD set or a new MacBook Pro. You won't be disappointed with the performance and capabilities that this MacBook Pro Apple said was capable of. And this thing still packs a punch from today, especially if you're upgrading from anything that's decently old like this. And for me, it was like the best decision that I've made. And it's pretty easy to find these used on Amazon or eBay, but I'm sure you can make last a long time. If you enjoyed this laptop review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. And I'll see you guys later.